Shalom Aleichem. We have here the Sefer Chofetz Chaim, the laws of Lashon Hara by the Chofetz Chaim. Let's take a look at it now. Let's take a look. The Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and this is laws of Hilchos Lashon Hara. This is the. Take a look at the HaKadma, Shmiras HaLashon, the mitzvah that shapes our world, acquiring two worlds. The Chofetz Chaim advises for prosperity by respecting another, both his honor and his possessions. Respecting the person and his possessions, we bring bracha into our lives. V'im hayu shomeim l'devorai. And if people would listen to what I have to say, this is the Chofetz Chaim saying this, I would advise them, seeking to improve their economic situation, to take exceedingly great care in regard to Lashon Hara. Sheyishmeru atzmam b'zehiros yisera mizeh hachet, uveprat mila'asos b'poel mamash ra lachaveiro. Me'inyan gezel, b'chamos v'ono'o b'kiyotze b'zeh. So, and especially not to harm others actively through theft, extortion, cheating, and the like. She'oz b'vada yisparchu nechseihem yoter mikol hasegulos. And especially not to harm others actively through theft, extortion, cheating, and the like. If one respects another person's feelings and possessions, his own possessions shall certainly be blessed more than if he had performed any segula, Shmiras hLashon. The Yidden were asking the Chofetz Chaim, what is a good segula, what's a good siman that they should do to help their life economically. So he told them, be very careful in Lashon Hara, and also do not harm anybody, actively do not harm anybody at all through theft, extortion, cheating, and the like. If one respects another person's feelings and possessions, his own possessions shall certainly be blessed more than if he had performed any segula. This is in Shmiras HaLashon, Volume 2, Chapter 9. The Chofetz Chaim's guidance for saving ourselves from harm. The Chofetz Chaim's guidance for saving ourselves from harm, refraining from Lashon Hara, that's evil gossip, is the greatest protection from the troubles that may arise in a person's life. So we should try to be very careful from saying Lashon Hara about other people. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu mikol hatzaros habaos aleichem ani yachol lahatzil eschem umishot lashon techabei. Eob Hey Chaf Aleph. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Hashem says, the Holy One, blessed be He, said, I can save you from all harm, provided that you conceal yourself from a prowling tongue. Zachor Miriam, Chapter 3. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Mikol hatzaros habaos aleichem ani yachol lahatzil eschem umishot lashon techabei. I can save you from all harm, provided that you conceal yourself from a prowling tongue. Zachor Miriam, Chapter 3. Beirach HaKadosh Baruch Hu beracha miyuchedes l'mi shenizhor michet zeh. One who refrains from speaking Lashon Hara receives an extraordinary blessing. Shmiras HaLashon, Volume 2. So in other words, we don't say Lashon Hara, we get an extraordinary blessing. Beirach HaKadosh Baruch Hu beracha miyuchedes l'mi shenizhor michet zeh. One who refrains from speaking Lashon Hara receives an extraordinary blessing. Shmiras HaLashon, Volume 2, Chapter 23. How to earn a place in Olam Haba, how to earn a place in the world to come. Guiding our tongue is our best guarantee of a beautiful olam haba. Mi sherotze liknos bazol ha'olam haba nitzor leshoncha meira dilenetzor leshono hu pesach ve'ikar gadol lizkos la'olam haba. Whoever wants to acquire olam haba readily should follow the advice, guard your tongue from evil. For guarding one's tongue is an entry point and a primary means through which one merits a portion in olam haba. Chida, Ma'aris Ha'ayin, to Avodah Zarah, 19b. Ikar, l'zkos la'olam haba b'shmiras piv. B'zehu yoter mikol ha'torah v'hama'asim. K'apeh kodesh kodashim. The main way to merit olam haba is through guarding one's tongue. This is more important than any Torah or good deeds he has, because the mouth is holy of holies. Kodesh Kodashim. This is said by the Vilna Gaon, Igeres Hagra. So let's see these two again. Mi sherotzeh liknos bezol ha'olam haba. This is very important. Whoever wants to acquire olam haba readily, nitzor leshoncha meira, should follow the advice. Guard your tongue from evil. Nitzor leshoncha meira. Guard your tongue from evil. Till the nitzor leshono hu pesach ve'ikar gadol lizkos la'olam haba. For guarding one's tongue is an entry point. It's a pesach, an entry point, and ve'ikar gadol, and a primary means through which one merits a portion in olam haba. That's the Chida, Maris Ha'ayin to Avodah Zarah, 19b. So he's gathering the various Mekarim, the various places where it's talking about Lashon Hara and the good that it does us and what we can get by and protecting ourselves by staying away from the Avera of Lashon Hara. Ha'ikar lizkos la'olam haba b'shmiras piv. The main way to merit olam haba is through guarding one's tongue. B'zehu yoter mikol haTorah v'hama'asim. So guarding one's tongue is more important than any Torah or good deeds he has. Ki hapeh kodesh kodashim, because the mouth is holy of holies. Vilna Gaon Igeres Hagra. This is from the Mikor. This is from the Mikor of Shmiras HaLashon by the Chofetz Chaim. Zatzal. Learning halachos of HaLashon Hara. Rav Segal's advice for those who need a Yeshua. Learning the halachos every day invokes Hashem's mercy. Ein mishpacha ba'olam shalomdim lefi haseder shel shtei halachos layom shlo ra'u ezu shehi Yeshua. There is no family in the world that studies the laws of Lashon Hara according to the schedule of Shmiras HaLashon Yomi that has not seen some form of salvation in their lives. Rabbi Yehuda Zev Segel, Zatzal, the Manchester Rosh Yeshiva, founder of Shmiras HaLashon Yomi. That's the learning of the Shmiras HaLashon, the guarding of one's tongue, Yomi every day. The Chofetz Chaim's direction for overcoming Lashon Hara, learning Shmiras HaLashon, breaks negative habits of speech. Ve'etza nachona hi l'shmiras halashon, afilu im kevar horgal bo. The Yetzer Hara can dominate a person to the extent that he becomes so habituated to speaking forbidden things that he will be completely unaware of any Lashon Hara leaving his mouth. Ve'etza nachona hi l'shmiras halashon, afilu im kevar horgal bo. And a good Eitzah, a good advice for the guarding one's tongue, even if somebody became very habituated to speaking Lashon Hara, afilu im kevar horgal bo, somebody became already habituated to it, and it's like nothing to him or her, chas v'shalom, v'govar olav yitro, and his evil inclination has conquered him many times in this inyan of Lashon Hara, saying evil about other people, ad she'eino margish bi'atzmo lashon hara, until he doesn't even know it himself that he's saying lashon hara. Ad she'afilu she'eino margish bi'atzmo halashon hara, shemotzi b'piv, that he doesn't know himself the lashon hara that he's taking out of his mouth. In other words, that he's speaking. Af al pi kein al yis yo'esh mizeh. Nevertheless, one shouldn't he shouldn't be miyayish. He couldn't give up hope from getting over and not saying the lashon hara. V'yeda lenachon ki al yidei chazoras hadin kama pa'amim. He should know that for certainty, ki al yidei chazoras hadin kama pa'amim, through the going over, the chazorah, that's the going over of the din, of the halacha, many times, yisapech or inyan, the situation will become reversed. V'yukba hadavar b'tivao, and this matter will become something that's teva, that's his nature. Sheyargish labasof, kol dibur v'dibur sheyetzi mi piv. He will look at everything that he says and make sure not to say lashon hara. If he's learning and chazering, he's going over the dinim of lashon hara. But even if he's going over all the dinim of lashon hara, so every day he will become very watchful to not say lashon hara. But even after becoming so numb, the Yetzer Hara can dominate a person to the extent that he becomes so habituated to speaking forbidden things that he will be completely unaware of any lashon hara leaving his mouth. But even after becoming so numb, he need not abandon hope. There is an effective strategy for him to regain control of his tongue. He should have confidence in the knowledge that by reviewing each law many times, the situation will be reversed to the point that he will reestablish a sensitivity in his nature to every single word he utters. Shmiras HaLashon, Sha'ar HaTivuna. This is by the Chofetz Chaim, Shmiras HaLashon, Sha'ar HaTivuna. Sha'ar, the gate of Tivuna, of understanding. Ikar harefuah la'adam shelo yavo lelashon hara hu belimud halachos ele umusreihen. The most effective method of avoiding lashon hara is the study of relevant laws and of the relevant laws and musar. Chofetz Shmiras, chapter 3. Ikar harefuah. So the main way to be healed from lashon hara, that he should not come to saying lashon hara, who belimud halachos, is in the studying of the halachos, of the laws, ele umusreihen, of the relevant laws, and musar, the musar. Chofetz halavos. The musar is the talking about the righteous ways that we should be, and giving us that we should do things in the right way. That's musar. Exhortation to be ever more diligent and the best we can. Shmiras HaLashon clears away sins. Learning and keeping the halachos helps clean our slate, quote unquote, clean our slate and keep it clean. Kishayargil atzmo liyos zohir bilashono shelo lesaper liolam bignus chavero v'gam milihachazik b'machalokes b'kiyotze bozeh milahachzik b'machalokes b'kiyotze bozeh b'yem kein b'harchev hazman yiyeh noki mikol ho'avonos shebein adam lachavero. Thus, one who habitually refrains from speaking Lashon Hara will eventually be free of all transgressions between man and his fellow man. So in other words, this is very good to know. One who habitually refrains from speaking Lashon Hara, to not ever say anything bad about the other person, and also to be very strong in a fight. In other words, to hold on to a fight and to just not let it go. Something like this. If he refrains from speaking Lashon Hara, he will eventually be free of all transgressions between man and his fellow. Shmiras HaLashon, Shar HaZechira, Chapter 1. Therefore, Misha Mekabel Alav Chovas HaShmira, V'shomer Es Atzmo Shelo La'avor Aleihen, Naki Mikol Eile, Ubevadei B'Zechuso Yimchol HaKadosh Baruch Hu, La'avosov Gam Kein. It is clear that in the merit of a child who accepts the obligation to watch himself and who indeed guards his tongue, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will forgive not only him, but his parents as well. Chovos HaShmiras. So in other words, if one wants to get a zchus, or merit for his parents, that he wants to do something that it will be very good for the parents too, or for whoever, somebody he wants to get a merit for, who is no longer with us, he accepts the obligation to watch himself, to be very careful, to try not to say Lashon Hara, and who indeed guards his tongue, he actually does not say Lashon Hara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will forgive not only him, but his parents as well. Chovas HaShmira. V'im kein mi she'mekabel alav chovas HaShmira v'shomer es atzmo shelo la'avor aleihen. Naki mikol eile, ubivadei b'schuso yimchol HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'avosov gam kein. It is clear that in the merit of a child who accepts the obligation to watch himself from saying Lashon Hara, and who indeed guards his tongue, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will forgive not only him, but his parents as well. Chovos HaShmira. Influencing the prosecution. The Chaim's warning of heavenly impact, warning of heavenly impact. Words of Lashon Hara spoken in this world spur disastrous results in the upper world. HaLashon Hara shehu mesapper po hu ole ad keneged kisei hakavod. B'lefi ze kama yesh lo odom lehis ameitz lehi zohir min hachet hechamor hazeh kedei sheyirachem Hashem olav v'yatzliach mikol hatzaros. The damage done by Lashon Hara spoken here on earth is manifested above before the heavenly throne. Therefore, a person should be exceedingly careful to guard himself against committing this grievous sin, so that Hashem will have mercy on him and deliver him from all adversity. Zachar leMiriam. P'yim midaber Lashon Hara al chavero ume'orer midonim olav ume'orer bozeh lema'alo inyan kategoria al Yisrael. V'nosen bozeh koach lasatan sheyakatreg al Yisrael. Chas v'shalom. When a Jew speaks Lashon Hara against his fellow Jew and brings up complaints against him, he thereby brings about accusations in heaven against the Jewish people and empowers the accuser to indict the Jewish people. God forbid. Shmiras HaLashon, Shar HaZechira. A little more. The Chofetz Chaim's advice for stopping the accuser: restraining our negative words about others. turns the tables on heavenly persecution. Deklal hu b'chol ha'inyonim. Mida keneged mida, v'lechein kemo sheha'adam kovesh es atzmo, uvoleim piv milidaber divrei ginus, al chaveiro uli'orer medonim olav, kein lema'alo, ein hamakatreg yachol liftoach piv lidvar kategoriyo. Mida keneged mida, measure for measure. If it is the rule of heaven in all instances, mida keneged mida, measure for measure. When a person restrains himself from speaking disparagingly of his fellow, then in heaven the accuser is unable to open his mouth to accuse. Shmiras HaLashon, Sha'ar HaZechira. Im nimtza b'Yisrael midas HaShalom, ve'en bohem shum Delitorio milmato, gam lima'alo ein hasaton yachol lekatreg alehem. If Jews live in peace with one another, then in heaven the accuser is not able to indict them. It's mida keneged mida. Ein hasaton yachol lekatreg alehem. Afilu al ha'avon hachamor mikol. Avodah zorah, chas v'shalom. Uveinehem shalom. Okay, Hashem. So if Jews live in peace with one another, then in heaven the accuser is not able to indict them. Hashem has implanted in the accuser's nature an inability to indict his beloved nation in any way under such conditions. Hashem has implanted in the accuser's nature an inability to indict his beloved nation in any way under such conditions. The Medrash states that this applies even when the Jewish people are guilty of the worst sins, such as idol worship. So even if they're guilty of the worst sins, God forbid, such as idol worship, God forbid, but Jews live in peace with one another, then in heaven the accuser is not able to indict them, because Hashem has implanted in the accuser's nature an inability to indict his beloved nation. Oh, hello. Yeah, okay. You can stay here. Come on in. Okay, thank you. So this is here, Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and it's laws of HaLashon. Okay, thank you.